Welcome out, everyone, to this RGL-6s Week 2 match between Meat Market and Froyotech. I am Zagron, joined by Mustard Overlord, and Dolphin is always behind the camera. How you doing tonight, Mustard?
I'm doing pretty good. Just excited to watch high-level invite gameplay. Hopefully this match delivers.
Yeah, hopefully so. These are the last two undefeated teams left in the Invite League so far, and it's also a likely preview for the Grand Finals if the season shakes out in a similar way to how it has so far. So, both these teams definitely looking to come ahead with a win. It'll give them a big edge in the seeding for that playoff time come around. We can run down the rosters real quick. We have on Meat Market, we have Yosh and Cookie on Scout, Broking and Sin on Soldier, May on Demo, and Patty on Medic.
And then for Froyotech, we're looking at the classic roster that everyone knows loves: Bandy and Eric on Scout, Habib Demo, Nursey Medic, Yamps on Pocket, and Blaze on Rover.
Yep, and we will be playing on CP Snakewater tonight. This was decided after pick ban Froyotech ended up picking this map, and Mustard was having an interesting discussion on why he thinks that they did that. So we can go into some map talk right now as we wait for the last few players to join the server.
Yeah, Zagron. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I mean, we all know Meat Market has a bit of an uphill battle against undisputed best team in the world, Froyotech, on just about any map. But I think there are definitely maps where I would favor them a little more, relatively speaking, than Snakewater, which I think is a map that really plays into Froyo's advantages over Meat Market and doesn't really fit Meat Market's playstyle. They like to get extremely aggressive with their soldiers. Broking teams always like to just put immense pressure, look for constant flanks, constant just pushes at off timings when the other team might not expect it. And I feel like Snakewater, it's kind of a map where you can sort of see everything in front of you in a lot of places, and it might be hard for Broking and Sin to create that level of space. I think Cookie and May as the combo could do a lot of work here, but my gut tells me it's just not going to quite be enough. And in the veto, Froyotech took out Gullywash and Metalworks, which are just very prototypical Meat Market maps. So I think they didn't really do Meat Market any favors there, and I'd probably predict a 5-1 score, to be honest, although I'd be happy to be proven wrong.
Yep, and just as a reminder, we are playing first to 5 or 30-minute timer, I believe, and like you said, they're definitely a more favorable map for Froyo coming out here. They've not banned this map yet this season at all. They also have not played it. But like you said, they are keen to take it into Meat Market as this isn't really their forte coming up. We're waiting for the last few players to join the server. We have almost everyone in here. So you said your prediction was 5-1 Froyo. I'd have to give a similar nod. Froyo best team for a long time, NA side of sixes. And I do think they'll be able to take this pretty handily. We'll have to see some special performances coming out from the Meat Market boys if they want to take any more rounds than what we expect.
Yeah, I mean, with Ascent sitting out the season, who, even they were not able to successfully beat Froyotech, but on paper they definitely have the second best roster. I feel like you're really looking at a very close 2-3 struggle between Meat Market and the Corsa team. And thus far, Meat Market has gotten the upper hand on that. I'm not sure if that'll continue to playoffs. I actually feel like whatever they're called at the moment, TBD, are gonna grow into the season as time goes on, as they begin to mesh. And Broking's team, some of their more unorthodox plays might eventually be countered. I could be wrong because this is a very talented team. They love pumping huge amounts of heals into Cookie and taking these incredibly aggressive solo Ubers that can do a lot of work when teams aren't ready for it. And they also didn't have May, their starting demo, for the last week or so. He'll be coming back, and I think he's a pretty valuable player to their team. But yeah, I'm interested to see how that 2-3 matchup plays out, but I still feel like we're a bit of a ways away before Froyotech gets dethroned.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. And speaking of that 2-3 matchup, I do believe that was the match last week on Sunshine that was casted by Sandblast and Sigafu, and Meat Market didn't end up taking that. And I think it was a 4-3 nail biter at the end that got timed out. So right now, Meat Market is the 2-0 team. They do have that record advantage going into playoffs for that seed. So if that 2-3 power struggle wants to get shifted at any point, some team is either gonna have to upset Froyotech or get upset by one of the lower down teams.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think there are a couple teams that could potentially do so. On certain maps, maybe Juice World, the Tambo team, would be capable of that. But for the most part, I think you're looking at this as the 2-3 teams. And I think, last week you really saw a Broking's team playing the optimal style that gets them, these wins. You saw all these times where TBD or Corsa's team were just setting up to push last, and Broking and Sin would just aggressively push into lobby from Sunshine last when no one was expecting it, and it just kept working. That level of aggression, especially in times where there wasn't like an ostensible advantage. They were hold like defending the point. It was even numbers. I just feel like they didn't come to play for versus that level of aggression from the Broking team. But I think Froyotech will be well aware. They're very common scrim partners with each other. They have so much experience together. I don't think they're going to let the meat market shenanigans really get to them. So yeah, I have to go with my gut and say Froyotech's going to win this pretty handily.
Yeah, definitely a fair assessment. We do have 12 in the server just waiting for the teams to ready up. When the rollouts happen, I'm going to want you to tell me, Mustard, what do you expect to see on the rollouts when they start up? Because different teams like to play mids different ways, and we might see Broking's team try to, you know, channel that aggression that we are used to seeing out of them, but it might not be as good for the map, so.
Yeah, that's the interesting point because on most maps, I would say the person to watch at the beginning of mids is Sin, because any map where there's a potential for a fast rollout, either to land on the demo or to get early spam into a choke point, such as Sunshine, Process, etc., he's a huge fan of doing so. Snakewater, though, is a little harder to make that work. It's such a straightforward large map. You can't really get on their team and spam them out before they really get to mid. You'll probably try to die if you try to do so. I think what's more likely is, Broking's team going for the classic double bomb mid strategy, maybe one of them landing on Catwalk, one of them going behind and Saw. I think Froyo tends to play this mid a little more passively. They trust on their scouts and Habib to win out in the damage battle in the end. So I still think Broking's team is probably going to be the more aggressive team in these fights, but it might be harder for them to be quite as aggressive as they are on other maps. And I'm interested to see what the meat market soldiers bring to the table, whether they're able to successfully land on Froyotech or get behind, or if they're just going to be killed very quickly.
Yeah, we have to watch to see if Froyo can keep that controlled gameplay going, kind of deflect the meat market aggression that we're expecting. And we do hear one ready up sound in the server, so just waiting on the other team. There's always the awkward points in the cast where everyone just wants the game to start, but someone's probably in the bathroom or something. So we're just kind of waiting for that to get going. Uh, if there's any topics you want to bring up about the season or what you think so far right before we get started?
Well, one last thing about this game, I think a lot of viewers who haven't been keeping up with the very, very recent history of RGL might be surprised to see Patty on Medic. I mean, he's definitely a player who's played a lot of different classes at Invite, very talented gamer, but Medic is not a class he's done before, but I think he's adapted to it really well. I've seen some very good heals from him. He's embraced the style of just tanking the ever-loving crap out of Kuki. They've made a very formidable partnership, and I think he can more than hold his own on Medic. I think he won't be the reason Broking's team loses. And I might end up being wrong. He might drop 5 times, but I think viewers will be pleasantly surprised at how well he does in this game.
Yep, hope to see Patty come out strong on that end. So we are into the game. Both teams are rolling out to mid. Everything looks standard for the most part. Both demos ending up rolling to that lower area. Habib actually going Saw with the rest of his team. So mid-fight starting out, both demos about to trade spam. We do see 2 meat market players going top left to try to contest the Froyo scouts. One bomb coming in from Sin trying to get onto Nursey. One rocket, but the second is served away, so Nursey will live. On the front side, Eric has a kill onto Sin on that bomber, and more damage coming through from Froyo's front line. So they will just herd MM out of this mid entirely.
Yeah, as Blaze goes down here, Habib's bombing in too. This is incredible aggression. I think he's going to die. They might have gotten a little too hyphy there. Patty's surfing well. Yeah, Froyotech kind of got a little overconfident there, but on that initial mid itself, they did really well. They really denied both soldiers. But as I say, that meat market's pushing back in. They have an Uber advantage because they ran out so early. They were healing the whole time. And it looks like they'll retake it.
Yep, those 3 players that Froyo dropped didn't help their case. Meat market were keen to re-push off that aggression. Both Ubers have been popped off on the point right now. A better Uber is had by the side of meat market as we see Nursey retreating towards that Saw area. Eric gonna go down on the top to Yosh, so the scouts just hurting Froyo back into their lower. Bomb in from Broking. 2 rockets is gonna be enough to kill Nursey. That mid's about to get capped up, but with two soldiers trying to bomb in retaliation. Patty, excellent serve, gets out 1 HP, but gets rebombed. May with a pipe gonna save his medic's life. Just a demo man right now. Habib 11 HP trying to get Patty, but he will escape to that back. Now Banny's on the hunt behind May, gonna take him out easily. And Froyo are back in control of the mid, but Patty did end up living.
Jeez, that was some real Banny and Habib magic there. I mean, how many times have we seen these guys with no, they really shouldn't have any chance of winning a fight. They're down numbers, they're hurt, and they managed to pull out some magic there. And Froyo is pushing already with May dead before Patty gets to him. This is really smart. They know he's not close enough to really make the difference. They're Habib's spamming the crap out of the point. He's really doing a lot of work. Unfortunately, Blaze goes down kind of early. I think, yeah, meat market's gonna be able to hold this pretty comfortably. I think Froyo's soldiers got, or not Froyo's soldiers, but Blaze in particular got just a little too aggressive. But Nice step by them, and Patty's now going to be able to use that full Uber advantage.
Yep, they took too much damage on that train. Their scouts got pushed out, and Meat Market have taken back control of mid. We do see a bomb forward, trying to get damage, and the Uber's popped out here by Patty and Cookie trying to get Nursey. Bomb on the back end. Sin gonna clean up everyone with a 3K from a bomb from lower. Mid gets capped up, and Froyo are 3 down. Great rocket on to Blaze, gonna save Sin's life. He gets an arrow, and Meat Market are poised to walk into last with a 4-man advantage.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest, Froyo's looking a little sluggish right now. Nice pick by Eric. The one thing about Froyo, they tend to bend without breaking, so you see Benny and Eric as the only 2 alive so far with the Sentry combo just completely destroying Meat Market, and Froyo's going to be able to repush, you know. Froyo makes mistakes like this, but they don't always lose actual rounds off of them, so... As we see Yump shotgun bullying Meat Market back out.
Yep, and they will take control of their second point back. Those spawners camp just in time to help deny last as well as Banny's gun. So both medics going to be alive here. Patty on a 75% to Nursey's 50. So small advantage here. We do see Meat Market grouping up outside of Saw, looking to repush. Bomb in onto that soldier. Blaze going down on the pipe. Another bomb in from Sin going to get denied, but they do make space for May to walk forward. Gets 2 kills onto Froyo's scout and soldiers, so they will take the space back. Full Uber is had. They didn't have to pop for that. Second's getting capped up by a scout, and they're already fighting on last. We do see here Ubers traded in exchange. Both teams fully invincible, getting all the flashes, but they do lose the first player. Broken going down, and MM's gonna have to retreat to lobby. They lost 1 player, but their medic's alive, and they did get their second point back.
That was such a prototypical Meat Market push. They had Uber advantage, but they didn't wait for 100. They went at 80, knowing Froyo would be more passive due to being scared of the Uber. And they got it without even having to use Uber, and they rolled it to last. Nursey barely got Uber in time, and then the trade went pretty favorably to Froyotech, but yeah, Broken Sea Meat Market got a point off of that, and now Froyo's trying to bully them out really aggressively. This go either way, but huge damage from Habib. Sin has an incredible bomb, takes down Nursey and Yomps, but it's not going to be enough. Patty's the last person alive for Meat Market.
That looked to be an all-in aggression call from Meat Market there. All 5 players walked forward to get as much damage as they can. Patty does escape with 50%, and Nursey did get killed at the end by that aggression. So Froyo going to take 2 points back. They get their second, and they get mid, but Patty's going to be on a 50% Uber advantage. All their spawns are up, and Meat Market's going to be poised to defend third here. They choose to back spawn. They didn't want to risk the stickies on the shutter, so they will be walking out the second here. Patty still on that 50% advantage. Nursey grouping up with Froyo, which is on midpoint. Looks like they're just waiting around, trying to build a bit, get position before they walk forward.
Whew, finally a moment of the action slowing down a bit. I mean, I thought the Broking's team might even just roll in while Nursey wasn't quite to mid, use the 5-second heal advantage they had, but no, they're waiting for Uber, like the average, not incredibly aggressive team, but it looks like they're going to be trying to bully their way in without having to use right. No, I take it back. They're KOing in. May is taking the super bomb, but the sticky gets shot away by the soldier right before he does, and the Uber ends up just retaking mid. Will they even get it before Froyo just zergs back in? It looks like there's a back cap, and wow, multiple players.
Yeah, Froyo keen to just give that up at the start, try to get that Uber and contest later. Mid is so close to being capped up, but second gets capped first, so the back cap going on from Blaze and Eric is going to get that point, and Nursey still has Uber, didn't have to use because Meat Market had to back up to deal with that. So right now Froyo on full back cap mode, Soldier going to get killed before he can get that, so now Nursey's on full Uber. They are 3 players down, they will be getting those up shortly. If Nursey can hold this Uber, but Meat Market don't want to waste a second. They're already walking back out of last, trying to retake the second point, and they do get the Uber forced out. Habib not able to be saved though, so it's just Banny and Nursey over here. They are going to get their second scout in and chase down Broking, and the second point will get recapped up by Meat Market here, a 70% advantage held.
Yeah, that was an excellent backup by Froyo, getting 2 separate players behind and blocking mid just in time as soon as Meat Market thought that they were safe. But nice repush by this side of Meat Market, and Habib getting dropped there. It seems like Froyo is still looking a little sluggish. They're not quite ready for this Meat Market aggression. They're dropping players. They're dying a little isolated.
Early Uber. They are going to pop out of Saw here. They got forced by those sticky bombs, so Patty going to walk forward, flashes May, and they do get 2 kills on the top. Eric going down, Habib going down, and they're going to get this recap again, but another back cap going on from Blaze here, but there is Yosh and Broking here to deal with them, so that gets stopped in its tracks, and the mid is recaptured cleanly. Nursey, though, with a 40% advantage going into the next defense.
Yeah, I think Meat Market's not going to wait for it, though. Actually, I take that back. I think they think it's a larger ad than it is, so they're going to respect it, but yeah, that was an excellent back cap attempt, but, single soldier just not as frightening as a scout back cap. The scout just has so much more 1v1 potential. And not to mention like a double person back cap. As we see Froyotech trying to get in, but really good building by Meat Market. They already almost have it. Froyotech could be pushing into an actual Uber here. Looks like
Yeah,
they're trying to milk it,
they might
but
not expect that the Uber is here already. So right now, both medics are sitting on full Uber. Soldier's going to fight for control of the up. We're going to lose it. And the Uber popped first by Meat Market into Froyo. They're going to flash 2 players and get that better Uber charge, but they are getting hurted back because the Soldiers have high ground. We did see Yomps and Eric going down. That's a 1-man ad for Meat Market. They're keen to walk through Saw, jumping through window, bombing into that lobby all the way on second, taking control of these doors. Meat Market, but on the back end, Banny looking to try to get some pressure in from the Saw side. Not able to do anything though, and Meat Market do have this point cap. Both medics on even Ubers and 6 alive for both sides as well.
yeah, and what this is really demonstrating, I think a lot of people mistakenly believe that it's hard to be this aggressive when you're the team with like worse players, but I actually think it's the other way around. I think if you play as aggressively as Meat Market is, you can actually like nullify a disadvantage in experience or in talent and just make things into coin flips, especially if the other team is not woken up yet. And I really feel like Froyo's not playing their best right now. They're getting split up by this aggression. They're not focus firing the first guy in very well. And we see it generally working out for Meat Market, although it is still the first round.
Yeah, Meat Market built that Uber on second, and now would they have it, they're going to walk into lobby, trying to get some space. Froyo holding pretty passive though, so nothing in here to deny. Gun is up for Banny, it's a level 2 on this truck side. Habib's watching lower with his sticky traps, so that could get dangerous if no one expects that. Right now, just posturing in lobby, looking for anything, a pick, a spam, maybe that gun going down from some rockets. So the snipe from Eric going to be the reverse entry, but Blaze going to get critted on the backside, so both teams down 1 player. Soldier in trying to get anything done, but he can't, so Sin gets taken down. Yomps is the trade, both soldiers just opting to sack there. Patty on half HP, kind of low. Look at how aggressive Eric is in lobby with this sniper, but it will just be another stalemate coming out. But here's the Uber coming in from lower. Eric gonna get juggled on that back wall and killed. So Uber's popped to deal with this gun. Nursey pops in return. It's a solo onto Habib, so it will last a lot longer. Right now, just trying to get control of last point, our Meat Market. They have a soldier up top, and the flash comes through, will force him back. Another bomb in from Blaze. Broken going down. Massive air shot on that side. Trade bomb in from Sin, not gonna be able to get anything nearly as good as that. So Furrier retaking this last point. Yosh gonna get down, and numbers advantage for them coming into this nice push.
Oh, that's so cruel. I mean, that, from the fates of TF2. I mean, Meat Market did everything right there. They had a much better Uber. I don't know what Banny was doing pushing up that far as NG, but then everyone on Froyotech spawned it just the exact last second. TF2 can be cruel sometimes when you're not ready for those respawns.
Bomb in. Another bomb. Meat Market just so much aggression all the time, trying whatever they can, but they do lose 2 players without getting a kill, so that one will be a bit of a failure. May gets juggled on his own sticky, shotgun out, but is not able to take him down, so Meat Market gonna try to back up and save as many players as they can. Both teams have around 85% Uber, so both just trying to survive, and Furrier's aggression is gonna put them back on that midpoint, gonna recapture that. A round hasn't been taken yet.
Yeah, and you start to worry, I mean, maybe I'll be wrong on this, and I hope I am, but start to worry that Meat Market may have missed their chance to get an easy round before Froyotech was really ready for the way that they were playing, because Froyotech, despite how they haven't been perfect in this game so far, they still haven't lost a round off of it, and it looks like they might be slowly warming into the game.
Yep, Froyo grouping up in that Saw now. Both teams have Uber. It's the first time we've seen a team want to push second from Saw exclusively. No one's even posturing lower. Blaze is walking back towards the combo to get buffed, it looks like. So right now, Froyo, the onus is on them to make this point. They've only capped second, I think, once in this round, so they've been on the receiving end of all the aggression. They gotta try to make something happen if they want to get those rounds on the board. Both teams just posturing around, not much happening right now.
Yeah, I think Blaze is just looking for a window to sack where the eyes might be drawn, some spam might be taken away. But Broken feeds a little aggressively. He wasn't on the same page as his medic, who was playing very passively in that fight.
And here's Yomps' counterbomb into Cheese.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Are they going to pressure off of it? Yomps is just chilling there. He's not under any danger yet.
Patty's up. Oh, air shot misses. He will keep that Uber, and Blaze goes down. Yomps in the back half lobby is going to take out Sin as a trade, though. So both teams down 1 soldier as Broken spawns. Patty gets taken down by the shotgun from Yomps in the back. He was not dealt with in time, and now Furrier are going to cap this point. They didn't have to use Uber, and they're keen to roll into last.
That was amazing play by Yomps, rather. Just some medics just, even if you know that he's on shotgun, it's just hardwired in your brain that he's used all his rockets on safe, and you know that hit scan's so instant. But we see Froyo in really aggressively, and they're just bullying Meat Market back into spawn. Habib's locking them out. I think this is going to be eventually a pretty easy round for Froyotech.
Yeah, it looks ceremonial so far. The full Uber out, they just got to clean up players and take that space. Here's the bomb in. Yoshi's going to get taken down. Both soldiers have this high ground on point. Patty desperate to get to point. He will get on it and Tom with the amputator, but the frags came through, and Freya will end up taking the first very extended round of this map.
There's Agron, and I hate to say it, but we might have forgotten because it was 12 minutes ago, but even though Froyotech immediately threw their advantage away after by over chasing in a second, they actually won the first mid pretty handedly. So I've yet to see Meat Market crack mid. Both their soldiers died very early. We need to see if they can have a more successful bomb. Sin got really close in, but Nursey had an excellent surf, and if Meat Market's not going to win mids, it's going to be a long day for them.
Yep, Soldier gonna get forced back out and gets counter bomb. Broken going down to Blaze. Excellent control from him. Right now, Yosh versus Yomps is the fight up top, and Yomps will win that handily with the shotgun. Blaze gets taken down by Yosh on the trade, though. Either way, Froyo does have this point as Habib gets the kill on Tame at the end. So, 3 players down for Meat Market, only 1 down for Froyo, and Froyo looking to roll into second. All the momentum from last round still going strong.
Yeah, excellent fadeaway pipe by Habib, and maybe a little too aggressive by that scout there, but I think they're going to be all right here. Actually, yeah.
He got juggled.
Yeah, I don't. That's just so unnecessary from Froyo. I mean, I understand they want to see if they can get a farther advantage, maybe get a force in that moment. But Habib didn't have anyone with him yet. That's just something you do when you feel like you're a lot better than the other two.
His team's helping pressure him out though, so Meat Market regrouping in lobby. Sin does end up going down, but Yomps is the trade, so both teams again down that Soldier. Banny going down though, and Broking being the trade from Eric's side. So both teams 4v4 fighting for pressure in this lobby area. They both have Uber as well, so probably want to wait on their players before they try to take the space back. lost those players, so they're not gonna be able to hold it, and both teams keen to reset here, wait for players for this Uber exchange on last.
Yeah, as we see Yosh building up a sentry on last, it looks like there's gonna be a bit of a turtle here.
Here's the bomb in. It's gonna get May traded back to Blaze, gonna kill that gun, but here's a scout in. Eric gets some pressure, taken down in the end. Didn't force the medic, and the gun is now level 2, so not the most successful bomb from Froyo, trying to posture in the right side here, but they will have to soft reset again.
And now that, as soon as the level 3 is up, some teams will just, sit back and just turtle forever. Broking's team is the kind of team that will use the excuse of the sentry on last to get a lot of double Soldier aggression going. Expect them to walk both Sin and Broking in to lobby, potentially looking for picks, but right now Froyo's the aggressors. Banny's trying to make a play on right, but he gets taken down by a nice pipe from May, and it looks like they do get the sentry with the spam, but Yosh, as you might notice, is on the Frontier Justice, so let's see if he does anything sneaky with that crit right there.
Yeah, Meat Market look to push in lower right now. They're trying to retake lobby with that mana that they had when Banny went down, but it will be for naught. They will have to reset again, and I don't think the Meds have popped their Ubers yet on this last. They've been holding for so long at this point, and that gun is on its way to get rebuilt. It's a level 1 put on top of the point this time. Does see Eric, and he will be able to call out for his team, so because that Yosh is going to reposition it to the rock on the bottom. Right now, Freya posturing around the shutter. They still haven't found a way into last yet. The posturing underneath is going to come to a fever as both medics pop their Uber from that underneath area. Bomb in, gonna come out, but he does get flashed in. Yomps' life is saved, and Meat Market has they kind of have pressure in here, but Froyo get those kills on the back end. Spam in. Here's the Frontier Justice you were talking about. Gets that kill onto Eric, and Habib traded out in the end as well. Banny and Nursing went down, so Yosh with a 3k on the Engineer, coming up huge in that defense, and Meat Market will be able to push out to their last.
Yosh is an incredibly good off-classer, as I know when I ring in an invite match, and he faced at me multiple times on spot. Made it into beaters video, but anyway, excellent hold by Meat Market. Like I said, they're not content to just sit with their NG at last and use it to deny bombers. They're gonna use the insurance of the gun and actually look for trades, look for pushes, and that Broking and Cookie trade, they just did so much more damage than the Froyo Uber. They just kept catching people unflashed, and Blaze might be going down here. Yep, we see a little bit of aggression, as I think we have a pause, I was trying to see if Meat Market was actually out-fragging Froyotech in total. As we're back live, Sin immediately kills Eric, and this looks like it's going both ways. Still a pretty active fight. Meat Market's more split up, though. See if they can clean up these kills. It looks like they can.
Yep, they do get the cleanup, and they retain that second point. And when they keep all their players up like that, they're keen to keep pushing into Saw. We do see Patty on 100% Uber right now, so Meat Market trying to jump mid. Broking's gonna get piped out though, so that's gonna be a dome man down. Regardless, Frey don't have the health or the Uber to contest it yet, so they are gonna regroup in this lower area here. Points close to getting capped up. We'll have to see if get it before anyone can walk forward. Eric gonna try to block it, but does get blasted off. Point does get capped by Meat Market, and they're just gonna retreat here into Saw to regroup.
Yeah, as we do see, there's still an ad for Meat Market. I like to see them going with this. Yeah, Froyotech's just about to get Uber, but they're kind of forced back. And just pretty stabilizing play by Meat Market. They do have both scouts picked though, and they're trying to get in. They have a 3-player advantage now. I realize the HUD is a little...
Yeah, it doesn't update. Here's the bomb in from Sin, and he gets that force off onto Nursey, so the counter Uber is still being held by Patty right now. They haven't used it, and first has to get out to last via underneath. So now, Meat Market are there sitting there with the full Uber advantage and second cap. It's going to be a 6v6 fight. We do see Banny back up onto that Engineer, has that sentry gun on the truck as well. Eric on the sniper can't find the entry shot, so Uber pops in, going to take out that gun and force the sniper back. Trade's going pretty well for Meat Market. Bomb in the back is gonna get nullified by Yomp, so just trying to take point control. It's almost capped up, it's so close. Sticks on the point are gonna edge out Froyo, and Meat Market get their first round.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I was on the Blaze cam during that last fight, and he didn't want any part of it because he was AFK in spawn, and I imagine that that had something to do with the pause. So, a bit unfortunate there, but we do see Froyotech getting equalized upon, and despite the Blaze being dropped, I think this is still a pretty fair scoreline overall.
Yeah, Meat Market rolled that advantage into last, and they played really well with it overall, so kudos to them to getting that round. We've seen new mid, aggressive Soldier bombing up, broken it, ran at and taken down by Bandy, so very strong advantage. Blaze is the trade back from that upper pressure, but without that player, they're not keen to fight it anymore, so right now, Meat Market to back up, keeping Patty alive, of course, so they will be able to contest the second point. Point just got started the cap for Froyo, so both meds are going to have Uber before this goes down. We will be having a second stalemate fight.
Yeah, and as our viewers may have noticed, a lot of the plays that seem to be working out for Meat Market in every other facet of the map are not going well on mid-fight. In these situations where Froyo has everything in front of them and they can just focus on positioning and DM as opposed to, out-rotating the other team, they're still playing pretty well, and the Soldier bombs from Meat Market have not been effective on mid. So Froyotech, I believe, has won all 3 mid-fights despite not being up around.
Yep, and right now we see Froyo posturing outside of Saw. They seem to really like this setup for pushing into second right now, and both teams are even Ubers. So both soldiers bombing in from E-Market, trying to get that kill on Eric and lower, but he jukes out those rockets, so great play by him to stay alive. Broking jumping down needs health. Froyo would that have rotated to this lower area, trying to spam over, and that spam will kill Yosh, so that's a mana advantage they're going to use to walk forward with. Vanny is so far forward here, going to look to get pressure. Oh, but Nursey drops to this sticky trap in the tree rocks, so that's a full ad coming in here. Great play by May there to trick Nursey into walking onto those.
Jeez, it's like both these demos can see the future. First, Habib hits a pipe across the map, and then May puts up a trap that I don't feel like usually hits medics. I feel like medics don't usually end up that far out, but still against the wall. But, kudos to him. He dropped the medic. So, great job by both demo men, and it has led to a big Meat Market advantage as Habib gets caught out, not ready for the aggression from Broking. Full Uber advantage from Meat Market. It looks like they want to keep taking it. They want to maybe leave a scout. Actually, scratch that. It looks like they want to... Oh, no. I was right the first time. They're going lower already with this Uber.
Yep, that pick onto Habib's going to prompt them to walk in. The Uber does get forced by Blaze here. Great bomb from him. And here's the bomb in from May, trying to get damage. This lobby gets flashed right before death. So great play by Patty there to save his demo man. And this point will get capped up. On the other side, Nursey didn't go down this. So they will have an advantage holding last. We'll have to see if Banny gets that gun up. Right now, MM walking to lobby. They want to go as fast as they possibly can. Trap gets popped, kills Broking, and Yosh dies to the spam in the end. Right now, Soldier going to get killed out. Sin isn't able to get anything there. So 3 down for Meat Market. They're going to have to retreat on that end.
And let's talk about Fury and execution for a second, Zagron. I love the decision from Meat Market to push in right there to use their 2-player advantage, try to get a force or a med pick right away. What I don't like is them going through left side when that's where Habib was holding. If they had picked any other doorway, I feel like they could have used their numbers there, but instead they got completely smushed, and now they're going to be holding mid, plus with an Uber disadvantage. Although, yeah, they're also down a player, so not ideal.
Yeah, Patty's at 80% though, so if they can kite this out and get that Uber, they'll be keen to repush this. They're keen to seed this area right now, going to back up to Saw, kind of let Froyotech take this mid, just wait for their Uber. Bit of a passive play coming out, but it's one you have to make if you want to get snowballed all the way to last.
Yeah, and I think it's correct here. I mean, if they were still in a little bit farther, I think they could have taken the trade. As actually, the Uber comes in early from Froyo, but they get May.
And so the Uber is going to get popped out in return by Patty. It's a longer Uber, but Habib gets 2 kills with Stickies, Broking and Yosh going down. So right now, Froyo will have control of second point in its entirety. Going to get that cap up, and they're looking to walk into last via the lobby. Soldier on top of the tower gets forced back and counter jumped. Bomb in, Patty gets the Bandy Bind resub to save his life from that rocket. So now Froyo in keen control this last point. Can't get onto the point right now. Cookie's gonna go down. Patty jumping on everyone. Patty drops in the end, isn't able to pop that Uber, so Froyotech snowballing that small advantage they got off of May overextending in Saw, and they do take the second round quick.
Well, it looks like Habib's warmed up, and also, yes, that's the domino nature of TF2 right there. May gets dropped. Because they have a longer Uber, Broken clearly wants to go back in and use it. Patty has a different idea. He says, no, let's go out to last. There is a miscommunication between the two. Multiple more players die thinking they're still being Ubered in, and it gets rolled all the way. As we see another mid-fight here, Broken in early, but Habib pipes him really early. The soldiers are getting pretty denied by Meat Market, but Habib is also very weak.
Nursey surfs that rocket high in the sky. Broking and Blaze going to be traded out, so 5v5 going on right now, but Meat Market do have position on the point and high ground. Cookie going to collapse onto Yomps and gets traded in return as well, so Meat Market loses another player at the end. They now are down players, but Patty built Uber a lot better than Nursey there, so it has a 10% advantage, but the numbers decide is going to overcome that. Right now, Froyo leaving a scout the cap, going forward, pushing lower here, trying to get ground into second before MM gets their players back.
Yeah, and often I feel like you'll see the retreating team build uber faster. They're taking more damage. The medic's usually with a guy to leave. And they are trying to take this trade back in, which I like, but unfortunately Yosh died behind and Mei is getting owned as well. They do get the Force though. I'm actually wrong about that. I thought they were going to take a trade. Instead they go for a Sin Force, which I kind of like actually. That's a pretty interesting play right there, and now they have full uber advantage.
Yep, so they'll be able to work with that once they get their players back. We'll have to see if they take aggression. Backcap in here from Banny. It's barely stopped, and they have to use that uber that they save to stop the backcap, so one good play negated by an equally bad play.
Heads up play by Broking though, going for Habib, knowing that he had enough players to block the point and that Habib was sticking it off, so I mean that could have been a lot worse if only Banny died.
Secret Agent Blaze standing on that crate isn't able to get a kill. Mei left on 1 HP. Eric trying to go for a trade doesn't get that either. So Cooking it arrowed by Nursey from that lower area and taken down, but MM is able to recollect on second point here and get that recap. Nursey is at a 20% advantage coming up. So once Froyo gets their players, they're keen to hold the second and look for another window in. We'll have to see if Meat Market are keen to go in off of that small advantage they have, but it looks like they're just going to regroup passive in lobby here.
Yeah, I want to see if Meat Market can hold out long enough to get this uber and block second, because it's really not good to go back in once they've already capped the point in these like uber v uber situations. So it looks like they're going to be able to milk this just a little bit. I don't think Froyotech necessarily realized, or actually it seems like they might, but they haven't gotten
There's
in
a
yet.
deep bomb in. He aborts that and goes on the roof instead, so Patty going to be able to get this uber. Both Meds have now. Bomb in from Sin trying to catch Beep out, and he does drop that guy, so now advantage on the spam coming in. Sin and Broking though are the trades. Great play by Eric and Vanny to clean this up. Blaze goes down in the end, so it's pretty much just a scout v scout fight with one soldier thrown in. Mei trying to hold them back as much as they can with the spam over the log truck, and it is able to hold them back for now. Neither uber hasn't popped yet. Froyo want to take the initiative. They take this into MM. Patty pops up, saves all of his players, isn't going to drop anyone today. Point gets blocked out because they have longer uber. Froyo got a scatter here. Broking coming from spawn, but Yosh gets the kill onto Nursey. Nursey coming and dying on the enemy bats. Yom's taken down as well. Scout in on the second point, trying to trade Patty. Patty, excellent serve, keeps his life there. Me Market get the point back, and they're going to be able to roll into mid here. Broking though, aggressive into Saw, gets taken out by Banny, and there he uses the trade.
Yeah, that was such an cocky... Oh, nice play by Blaze, actually getting picked and delaying them. This is really smart by him, but that was way too cocky of a play by Froyotech. They were down a Demo Man with even numbers, and the spawns were coming in faster from Meat Market, much closer from their own last, but Froyo still took the trade and then stayed in the whole time, which was not ideal, and we saw them get punished for it, but they managed to spawn in time on mid, and Blaze delayed them so long with going behind that I don't think Meat Market's going to be able to push this, and they lose Yosh. That was all Blaze right there. He's such a smart player, and you really see that experience coming through.
That solo play helping his team retain control of mid. Patty is sitting here with about a 40% add, and if they know that, they might be able to push in off this Meat Market once they get Yosh back, but we are into another pause, it seems, so...
Ubers have been so good this game. As we're back, I take it back, let's watch the action, but yeah, really good Ubers so far by Meat Market. They've totally held their own with Nursey. As Yomps takes down the Broking sack, not really the sack, he's on defense, I don't know what I'm saying. Let's see if they do anything off of this. They're still a little bit behind on Uber, but they have a good opportunity here to maybe get another pick or get a good sack in with that player advantage.
Yeah, it looks like Froyo going to drop out of the window here, trying to get aggressive in the enemy yard, trying to walk around. Bomb in here from Blaze, going to be aborted at the end. So right now, Patty sitting on this bat still has Uber. Nursey has as well, so both teams looking to try to get the better end of the trade. Yoms gets killed by Cookie from that cheese area. Mei is the trade back, and they do drop their Demo Man in this Uber, so as long as Nursey keeps everyone alive, they'll have an advantage out of this. Blaze is forced out of the fight, and Habib is traded though, so no demo, no scout. Banny gets killed by Cookie. The scouts have MM doing so much work. Eric going down in the end to Yosh as well, so Froyo looked to have the better Uber, and the Dome Man got dropped from Meat Market, but they just kited out well and got the cleanup.
Yeah, they just had that tiny bit longer, I guess by like a second or so. Either that or Banny got unflashed and he got double meat shot instantly. Also to note there, Yomps went into cheese again. It seems like that's a design play they've been doing a lot, but this time the soldiers in Meat Market were ready for him. So, fool me once, shame on you. But, we see a bomb in here early from Broking, trying to make an early play. It looks like he's getting denied. Sin is as well. I think he's going to live, perhaps. Benny's getting really aggressive, but I don't think it's going to work. He might have overchased just a little. And, yeah, it looks like we're in another bit of a stalemate situation. Looks like Froyotech, I guess because there's so little time left at the half, or... Never mind, I take it back. They lost Eric, and they have to pause and
Yeah, so that will be the reconnect coming in. Both medics sitting on Uber now, stalemating around the saw area. Froyo on the back foot on the second point right now, but once they get Eric back, they will be able to kind of contest our round. We'll have to see. The onus is on Meat Market to try to take this round before that half ends. Hopefully they can tie it up. Right now they're grouping around in saw, but the spam from Habib is keeping them from crossing over quite yet. They're trying to look for soldiers around window, maybe try to get that bomb and sack in on Nursey that they've gotten so many times before, but right now we're just waiting again.
Yeah, but it looks like Broking's trying to bully his way in through Saw, maybe distract, draw eyes for a Sin Bomb, or maybe catch out a player overextending. And it looks like they're doing a two-man. Yeah, two-man by Meat Market, which I don't hate. I mean, this is a team that's very comfortable with playing with both their soldiers dead, as you may have noticed. They go for a lot of double soldier play. And Meat Market falls all the way back, but I definitely think they're still going to trade Ubers on this point. They still have enough positioning to do so. They're going to buy time, so the soldiers are both already almost up. So we'll see how this Uber goes.
Yep, and I'm gonna pop first here, trying to force Nursey, but milking well has to pop in to save Habib. The soldiers from Meat Market are back, but Habib getting that kill onto Cookie, so down one scout. Our Meat Market bomb in, trying to get Nursey. One rocket serves it away and will live, but the scout coming back in, Yosh gonna clean her up. Also gets the kill onto Habib, so a lot of frags going for both sides. Patty is killed by Banny on the back end. Blaze gets piped out at the end. Yom's craters May, and almost everyone is dead, but Froyo have enough alive to capture mid.
Yeah, I guess Yosh works for the Coast Guard because that was a pretty good salvage by him right there. I mean, I don't know what was going on in that fight. I think Meat Market, you know, they tried to milk a little too long and ended up getting a really bad Uber trade.
Spawner.
Yeah, kind of unfortunate by Cookie, but I think their team will be content to try to turtle last here. It would be really bold of them to try to push out, do as aggressive a push out as before, considering there's only 2 minutes left in the half. But
yep,
we'll see what happens.
With that time left in the half, we do see Meat Market are on that sentry gun. Yosh playing engineer, trying to just hold, not cede a point to Froyo before a reset can come in. Broking trying to bomb in main to kill Banny, but isn't able to get him. So both medics waiting. Nursey gonna have a 20% advantage coming in. So Froyo do have a very good chance to take that extra round and put more of a cushion in between them and Meat Market. Right now, MM trying to contest the shutter control, hopefully get some space back. But right now it's up to Froyo. The onus is on them to take this round.
Yeah, now you wonder if they realize they had this ad, but even if they don't, they might just walk in anyways, trying to take an Uber trade and accidentally find an Uber ad. But looks like that hasn't happened so far. I think Froyo's going to play it a little safer, maybe just go for sack waves. I mean, they don't want to get rolled all the way back, although it's very unlikely. And we'll see how this...
Yeah, that said, Patty is back on Uber, has that to defend with. The level 3 gun is now up behind that truck, so it's a very tall ladder to climb for Froyo if they want this round. They got to play right. They got spammed out of the far right door from the defensive perspective. Gonna have to get those buffs again. Just kind of waiting out. They're probably gonna make one push right before the time expires. Here's the Uber in through Shutter. Patty isn't traded back yet, so they do get that one kill onto Sin. STV pause coming through. Gun gonna kill, gonna get damage down, but Broken gonna get killed by Eric on the self-damage. 2 stickies in from Habib, take out Yosh and his gun. And just now the Uber comes out from Patty, so they're down 3 here trying to make this miracle defense, and they do make it work for now, but Froyo looking to regroup with their numbers advantage, try to get some pressure in. We see bomb in from Blaze and Yosh get a bunch of damage and point control. Point about to get cleaned up, but the soldier's doing so much damage. Double bomb in the end isn't enough to take that round right before the half.
Yeah, and I have to say, I've been giving him so much praise, but I feel like that was not the best Uber from Meat Market and Patty. Like, I just don't think it's worth it to drop that many players. Like, dropping 1 player to have a better Uber, maybe. Dropping 2 to 3, it's not worth it. You'll have the better Uber, but you won't have enough players to chase. They'll be able to kite you, surround you right after the Uber, lock out the spawns, start getting cap time. That's exactly what happened. You know, Meat Market just tried so hard to milk that Uber as long as possible. They lost one of their soldiers. They lost their NG and their gun. And, you know, they weren't going to roll the round all the way back, so if they had just traded right away, you know, it might have actually worked out better for them in that situation.
And if my eyes didn't deceive me, the 2 players that they did end up saving, one of them was the engineer, so not that much combat power you're saving with that Uber. They do get rolled in that last fight, and Froyo do take the 3-1 lead coming into the half, so only 2 more for them to close this out, and if they do it, we have that 5-1 you predicted, but albeit in a different fashion.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the stats right now. I don't know if we can potentially pull those up, but it looks like after a bit of a slower start, Habib is definitely coming back into focus, as is Banny. Habib is playing extremely well. Banny's top damaging the entire server. Blaze is having a bit of a rough-in. I guess it can be hard if he's being 2v1'd a lot in the flank by these double soldier bombs, but we see Broking style, you know, top deathing, taking the most damage in the game, but he has legitimately made space for his team. And as a result, we see Patty with more heals. He has fewer deaths than the other team, and he's had some, the end of the game notwithstanding, or the end of the half notwithstanding, some pretty good Ubers. So I feel like this strategy for Meat Market's mostly working. I just feel like when they do get pushed back and they're holding second or they're holding last, there are times where their aggressive style can lead to them getting too split up. You know, their demo gets caught out to dry or they Uber too late. And I think I think when they are stepping on a team's throat, they know how to keep pushing their advantage. But if they could just clean up a couple of these cases and just know when to switch from being really aggro to really passive, I feel like they could be doing better in this fight. But it is still worrying that they haven't won a mid. We have to bring that up.
Yeah, the aggressive team hasn't won a mid yet. Freo just able to kind of, wring them out to dry on these mids, making them take a bit longer, denying those bombs and that aggression, and always getting that repush in. So Freo have a lot of control of these fights when they're taken on even terms, is what it seems like.
Yeah, when you know a team is going to be double bombing against you on mid, you have to. I mean, it sounds simple enough, but you basically have to kill or deny their soldiers fast enough before the rest of their team, their scouts and demo, can run across the point without distraction. And it seems like they're able to do so. The soldiers are bombing Habib and Nursey, but not actually killing them. They're having to kite back, but they're able to repush with those soldiers dead or like 50 health, and they're able to retake the mid. So we'll see if there's a switch up. I don't know. Maybe Me Market tries to get a couple guys behind, but it seems like mostly Broking's just been landing straight on them, and it has not been working. So I'm going to watch Broking on this mid Zagron and see what happens.
Yep, I'll take it from the top then. We see May and Habib getting ready to trade spam. Nothing quite happening yet. Both teams looking to pressure. Up top control is taken by the Freo scouts right now. Soldier Bomb is in from Broking, like you said. Does have to abort that, but more players, 4 players up top right now for MM. Gonna try that aggressive dive again. They trade 1 player out, but Vanny gonna clean up Sin. So both soldiers again down for Meat Market. Like you said, they just always are the first ones to die. Yom's gonna get taken so low, but does live, and Meat Market can get herded back through their own saw. Freo's control mid reigns supreme again.
Yeah, and I actually think Broking played that pretty well. I mean, if you notice when he bombed, he actually directed Vanny down to 5 health. I feel like May could have gotten a little more aggressive across the point, and also it shows the experience and movement of a player like Vanny being able to not die in that situation with all the pressure, but Patty and May are getting really bullied here. Habib's trying to bully them out. Liam's spamming from Saw. I think they're trying to bait Patty into using this Uber first. Another pipe on Cookie from Habib. They really want to bait Patty into a bad trade here with all this positioning they have.
Yeah, Patty doing an excellent job dodging out spam pipes, stickies, everything. Here's the bomb in, and he holds his nerve and keeps his Uber there. Gets taken down so low. Broking and Blaze it traded. Vanny gonna kill Yosh though on this back before he can get healed. So right now, 3 players in the underneath area for MM. Sin gets killed. Yomps is the trade on the crater, and an Uber trade is happening in the yard over here. But Nursey not forced to pop yet. Cookie trying his hardest, gets the melee force off. Nursey taking on a 1. So it's a bit of a silver lining, but in the end, Freo do keep all but one of their players up. Me Market lose 4, and Freo gonna try to roll into last.
And I believe that was actually an arrow from Nursey that finally forced Patty, so a bit of medic on medic violence there, but luckily, during the chaos, during the fracas, enough of the Freo players went down that they can't immediately roll on the last, but I mean, we're early in this half, but Freo is now up, and the psychological edge of trying to push this last when you're up 3-1, you know the other team has to eventually make a play into you. And we'll see how that goes, because Freo is starting to warm up into this game, and they're looking pretty dominant now.
Yep, Patty's sitting on a small advantage. It's only 10%, not going to be enough to really push off of. We just see back on the level 2 gun, Yosh Engineer trying to see if he can get those revenge crits. It is a level 3 already, so they have that to work with. Both men is about to come up on Uber. Freo just building the last remnants of it outside of lobby, going to take that space and look to take their 4th round right now. Blaze going to trade some rockets up in the crate window. And right now, Freo, now that they have Uber, they're trying to take control of lobby. They go through underneath, and they're just holding through for that push.
Yeah, they're doing it again, and they do get 2 picks, but this time they get forced without being able to instantly trade Nursey. Last time they actually caught the combo of Froyotech on the ramp. This time they did not, but they did get 3 players ultimately. Let's see, is Froyotech going to get forced here to the
scout? Yeah, they have the force of their positioning. They get closed in on, and with only 3 players, they're going to try to retake this lobby using that Uber. There's a lot of players hanging around for Meat Market. They have to see if they can collapse on any one target, and they do focus down Vanny, so that is going to be an advantage coming through for them. Second point going to start to get recaptured right now. Is bomb forward in from Sin, going to try to force Freo back. Another one from Broking. They need to get more spam on this combo, because right now they're getting ready to push in. Broking is taken down, and the point gets blocked by Eric, so not quite capped up yet. Sin and Cookie get taken down. Patty gets rolled through, and this is a disaster for Meat Market.
Yeah, I was about to praise Meat Market, but those soldiers come in just at the last minute, and they're not expecting it. I didn't really see how they all crumbled that quickly, because I did not hate the repush. I mean, they had numbers to begin with, but Freo soldiers coming up just in time. And I was actually going to criticize Froyotech for holding with their combo so close after losing the 3 players instead of being backed up onto the point to trade there, but I guess they know better than I do, because that worked out pretty well for them.
Yeah, just the MM soldiers weren't able to get ground. They got collapsed on by the scouts and the damage, and they just got rolled to last. All their players got killed, so Really great collapse from Froyo to keep composure there in that situation where, like you said, they were at a disadvantage. So new mid coming in. We'll have to see if Market tries the same thing. Right now, both the Souls actually playing ground, so they're trying to swap their mid up. They do get the Yomps trade for their trouble, but Blaze right now going to look to pressure back May. Both scouts are trying to take up top, and Eric will be victorious on the side of Yosh there. So man advantage coming through. It's a one-man ad. Sin getting taken down, so now Froyo's starting to roll through this mid. They got to get as many players out as they can, Meat Market, and Patty does escape with the help of a scout, but just another mid roll for Froyo.
Yeah, and I think that Meat Market was a bit of a victim of just how good Habib is at mid fights on Demoman. You know, when they're bombing him early, he's living, and when they don't bomb him early, he just runs forward and denies everyone off that shack. We see an attempt to force from Blaze. It doesn't look like it works out. I think there's going to be a bit of a stalemate here, but yeah, it's just you can't give Habib all this free room. But when they tried to deny it by double bombing, it wasn't working either. So I actually think that's more on the non-soldier players of Meat Market needing to take a little more risks on this mid to make that strategy work, but their passive mid didn't really work much either, so we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, the adjustment was not there for Meat Market. They tried and they failed, so Froyo now are in the same position they were last time. Both teams at Uber trying to get this final point that they need to close out the match. They're going to look to position in lobby here. Meat Market playing a lot closer than they normally do, playing up with their sniper, isn't able to get that first shot, so the surprise factor is gone on that end. Right now, just... go ahead.
Sorry, I have to shout out the chat. Noticed something that I did not, which was a very, very good air shot by Broking when Blaze was hacking. So, shoutouts to the bird. But yeah, we'll see what happens here. For Yomps and Broking trade, Yosh might try to use this opportunity to get really aggressive on Sniper. They're looking for anything. They're very desperate to get any advantage here because if they don't, game over.
Yep, and Soldier in, gonna try to pressure the point, make MM rotate back. Blaze is taken down, and there's the snipe from Yosh onto Banny, but two immediately traded back, including May getting dropped. Right now, Patty still has the Uber, hasn't used yet, drops Yosh as well, so it's just two people left from Meat Market right now. They do get their other Soldier in, and they collapse onto the Scout and Demo Man of Froyo, and all that pressure and milking does end up paying off this time, so they will be able to roll into second with a full Uber.
Yeah, but I think the spawns from Froyotech, I mean, they still don't have to be, but their spawns will come in enough that they'll definitely fight this. And looks like Meat Market is going to have to back up here. Yeah, I mean, May dying there was really difficult, but Froyo was unwilling to risk it by taking the Uber trade. They just wanted to keep rolling frags, and eventually it does stabilize. But, Froyo doesn't really lose anything if fights end in stalemates for the rest of this game, so we have to see what happens here as, uh-oh, a bit of a STV stutter there, but, we'll see what happens here. Two-man sack.
Both scouts gonna try on that sack. So without those, it looks like Froyo gonna have to give up this lobby control there. Just want to get out to second right now. If MM notices, they can take this high ground. Habib and Yomps trying to get spam in to deny as much space as they can, but lobby is now firmly in the control of MM while the scouts for Froyo run back. They're gonna look to try to pop out here onto Nursey, and the Uber's immediately traded back. So right now, that's all they wanted, apparently. MM just getting all the way out to last once they have that Uber. We do see Sin and Broking are waiting behind here, so double soldiers. Sin gonna get traded easily and killed. It's just Broking waiting in cheese here. If he dies, it's 4v6 coming in on last. Just trying to stall out time, it looks like. Both meds on about 30%, so we're just stalemating a bit longer.
Yeah, Broking's looking for his window.
He really wants this pick.
This can be harder than you think because most teams don't hold right next to cheese. They usually hold towards the right side or aren't even in lobby.
Yeah, Froyo's combo is in already. They're trying like a three-man sack play. They do manage to get May, Patty. So that's the medic and Demo Man dead. Right now it's just the gun being the last bastion defense. Yosh gonna get that Frontier Justice kill, but Froyo now with heal advantage, one-man advantage. They have to deal with the level 2 before they walk on point, but Sin gonna get focused down by the scouts, and the gun isn't in range to hit them. So it's just the revenge crits trying to do the work, but they can't do it, and Froyo will end up taking the round and the map.
Yeah, I feel a bit of two minds because as a commentator, you like when your round prediction is right. I did predict a 5-1, but it did not happen in the way I thought. I thought it would be a very dominant game by Froyotech where, we'd throw in like one little beef and Meat Market would roll it all the way. But for those who didn't watch the first half, the game actually started very close. Froyotech seemed a little sleepy. I know they ended scrims a little early. Maybe they were just relaxing before the match, but they weren't coping with Meat Market's aggression very well. But, Froyo with their bend, not break style, with the level of DM that their scouts bring to the table, they were able to hold on to last. And eventually, it did become as dominant as I thought. But, credit to Meat Market for giving them a good run, particularly on a map that I do not think is a strong map for them. And I'm just going to take a look at the stats here, Zagron.
Yep, sounds good. Like you said, this was not a map we expected them to do particularly well on. The fact that they were able to contest Froyo for a majority of these rounds shows promise for them going further into playoffs. Maybe if they refine their map pool, maybe if they do the pick ban in a different style, or maybe if they just try to improve on certain maps, they really can make a splash in these playoffs.
Guys, I'm looking at these stats right now, and in the second half, Nursey didn't die a single time. It was much more dominant from Froyotech, going in with the psychological edge of knowing you're already up 3-1, and knowing that your mid fights are working, and knowing that you're warming up. Plus, Eric just absolutely demolished them with 10 kills in those quick two last second rounds. Once a team starts to get disorganized, starts to argue with each other, starts to be on the back foot, that's when you really see a team with scouts as good as Froyotech just start picking them apart. And Eric and Banny really destroyed them in that second half. So
Eric actually top damaged the game over both Demo Man as well, so great play by him to make a ton of room. Banny no slouch either, gets 313 DPM. So like you said, both scouts were Freya doing tons of work. And credit to Yosh, he did his best to hold the gates as long as he could, but in the end he just ended up getting overwhelmed along with the rest of his front line, and Freya just able to roll through once they got warmed up.
yeah, and I think in past years, Eric has been a bit of an underrated player on Froyotech. Like he transitioned from pocket scout to play that sort of free state style of running in behind, drawing eyes, not taking as many heals. I mean, sometimes he takes more heals than free state. He's not quite that extreme, but still, not a role he was originally comfortable with. And I mean, in my opinion, in the final season of ESEA that we just had, he was the MVP of Froyotech. He played so consistently well across the season, and shoutouts to him because once Meat Market started fraying at the seams, he was one of the players who really exploited it the most, just running into last, just meat shotting a couple people. And yeah, overall, Froyo withstood the pressure from Meat Market, and they showed why they're such an elite team. Even when you catch them on a bad day, even when they're not playing their best, even when they're letting mistakes happen, they're disorganized. They can, stall out enough time to regroup, get their mind refocused, and still win the game. So it shows just how much of a great performance you have to bring to even have a chance to beat them.
A great performance is required indeed. And with that, Froyotech do move on to a 3-0 record. Meat Market fall, unfortunately, to 2-1. So Froyotech are the last remaining undefeated team in Invite. And looking at their schedule ahead, you would argue that this is one of their hardest matches. The Corsa team might be one of their hardest matches left. So if they're able to keep that streak up, they might end up being with an undefeated season.
Yeah, and I mean, I have to say, not to be anticlimactic or anything, but I think Ascent's roster is still much stronger than the Corsa team, and they weren't. I mean, they had the upset on Froyo and Granary, but they weren't able to beat them in the playoffs. So I think Froyo, it's going to take a lot to knock them off. I mean, Ascent has Slemnish, Laz, these players with unbelievable DM, possibly even better than their counterparts on Froyotech, and they still didn't have quite the level of cohesion, experience, and of course that Habib Benny core at the center of it that just don't close out the games in the end. And I don't think any team is even at the level of cohesion and having played together as long as Ascent. So we'll see what can happen. I'm excited to see teams try. I think the 2-3 rivalry between Meat Market and Corsa's team is going to be very good. I think both teams have strengths on certain maps and advantages in different positions across the map. But I still need to be convinced that someone could take on Froyotech other than maybe Seven, and even that's a stretch. So that's my 2 cents.
And as the 2 and 3 teams, the Corsa team and Me Market have already played this season, we will have to wait quite a while to see that anticipated rematch to see who will eventually get the prize of being the #1 seed to take on Froyotech, so the #2 seed overall. See if they're able to take it to them like MM did on their on the rounds that they did well this map. If a team can really refine that style and show that they deserve it, that we'll see a strong team come in the playoffs for them. So definitely anticipating that.
Yeah, I am expecting to see that match in the playoffs if those teams are still the 2 and the 3. And I think over a best of 3 when they're going to be, possibly getting maps that both of them have advantages on, I think that'll be really, really fun to watch. But yeah, that's all the thoughts I have on this map here, Zagron. It was the outcome seemed to never be in doubt, even though the actual way we got there was maybe a bit more frantic and a bit more stressful for Froyotech than we initially thought.
Yeah, when you say it's more about the journey than the destination, we did have a very interesting match tonight to look back on. So with that, we will be kind of wrapping it up here. Froyotech ended up taking the 5-1 over Meat Market on Snakewater. And with that, it's farewell from me. Any last shout outs you want to give, Mustard?
Shout out to a good match from both teams, and shout out to you for casting beside me, and shout out to everyone who watched the game. shout out to our cameraman Dolphin. You know, got to give love to the cameraman. They don't get to say anything, but they have to click a lot more than we do, and people notice if they have terrible camera work. I know when I've tried to stream matches on my own stream, my camera work is not ideal. So shout outs there, and yeah, I'm hoping for a good rest of the season.
Yep, definitely had a great time and hope to see more games like this. So with that, we'll be signing out. Thank you all for watching.